What's up, guys? How we doing? Tuesday night hangout. About the regular scheduled time, and we're on time, regardless, whenever it's scheduled. 8:35 Eastern. Shout out to everybody in the chat. How we doing? Let me know where you're listening from. Give as many shout outs as possible. What's up, Kramer? This is welcome, everyone. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Yes, please do that. Also, I should say thank you to you guys. We just passed 132,000 subscribers, and we're about 2.5 years since starting the channel. It's unbelievable. Absolutely insane. Also, shout out to you guys. The reception for the Eagles doc that we dropped over the weekend blew my mind. I mean, we premiered it, so I know some people were like, hey, is this a live stream? But yeah, couldn't. I mean, you guys make it worth it, but just the feedback and everything else. You forget some of the moments. I'm not going to lie. Like going back through last season and reliving the moments, the sound bites, the interview clips, how the team was perceived, how we felt about the team, quite honestly. I mean, going back through some of those comments and some of those videos, you forget about some of the moments. It was a really, really special year, though. So shout out to you guys, as I said. Jeremy, Goat, Arturo, IBH, Lego 321, John, Enrique, Jamar, what's up? What's up, cuz? Devin, Hunter, Bill Watkins, Frankie Ray, Hiram. I think it's Hiram. Hiram Murray. Never get on here. You're on here now. North Philly Mo, Chaz, CJS, Frank, Roger, Rich, and Anthony Giovanelli. Manchester, PA. Go Birds. Go Birds, baby. Fanny sitting here working on a school paper. Kudos to you. Good luck with that. Hopefully it's not... I'm interested on the topic. Hopefully nothing too difficult. And hopefully we don't distract you. But appreciate you hanging out. Also, as always, we've got some special giveaways. And on that note, we could just start it out with this. This was on the previous video. I think I've got the comments ready. So this was from the previous one. And Nolan Smith dropped some new merch. So, of course, you guys know. I mean, I'm going to give away some Nolan Smith merch. We give away a lot on this channel. But if we got Nolan Smith merch, then, yeah, you better believe we're going to do something there. So let me make sure. Yeah, I think I got it. Here we go. So good luck. This is on the previous video. Somebody's getting a Nolan Smith shirt from the comments section. And it will be aesthetically not so pleasing. Saying I need it. Congratulations. Aesthetically not so pleasing. If you're here, it'd be great. If not, you got a chance. To claim it for a week. You got a week. If not, I'll give it away to somebody else. Also, I am going to give away another Nolan Smith shirt later in the stream, so stay tuned. And it'll be to people on the live stream, but I mentioned in the video. So for people that have commented, congratulations. Like I said, if you're here, comment, let me know. If not, then you'll have some time. I'll mention it, give you a heads up. And good for you. As everybody said. We just get that one out of the way quickly. Janet, what's up? Love your channel. Listen all the time. You're always up to date. Appreciate that. Thank you. Trying to as much as possible. So now that we got the giveaway out of the way, we have all sorts of news that we can get into. And curious to get your guys' takes, so feel free to chime in. Tony Vibes, finally able to make a stream. You are. Frank saying, keep your eyes on Adoree Jackson. Bet he and Coop work well together. It wouldn't surprise me if he's getting a decent amount of first-team reps, especially early on in camp. So we'll see that. Keep an eye on him. Kelee Ringo. All right. So because I mentioned Nolan, I feel like we'll start there. And then we're going to get into Nakobe Dean. I mean, people seeing the thumbnail, I'm curious, you're probably like, whoa, what in the world? If you haven't seen it, I tweeted it out. We will get into that. John M., what's up, brother? The Eagles better shape than we thought. But first, mentioning Nolan. So shout out to Eagles Eric. And for people watching this back, by the way, I'll have a link in the description. So people watching this back on delay or whatnot, if you want to go check it out. Eric does great work, great breakdowns, analytics, and things like that. I will have the link to his page to go look at the insight more. But this is just what he shared on Twitter, and so I was fascinated by it, especially because, anything Nolan related, it's going to probably pique my interest. So expectations for Nolan Smith was his article coming up and talking about a pass rusher solid from the left side. But he ends up going into detail saying from the other side, which he was not playing much, but the few plays that he played in the right side, he transformed into a one-man demolition crew. So the right side numbers he had, and you can see it here, most people, unless you're on a phone, it might be difficult, but I can read it for you, had an eye-popping 5 sacks and 5 pressures from the right side in just 45 total pass rush attempts. So Eric, as he mentioned and goes on to say, might be worth looking at the potential of Nolan Smith and putting him on the right side, swapping side. I would be curious. I don't know. I mean, it's maybe the fact that there's not as much film or tape on him, so teams are not as sure, or if you're an offensive lineman, you don't know which move he's going to go for. But as you see, too, I mean, Eric mentioned here as well, saying Smith seems to possess a bionic right arm and leg, allowing him to generate sustained knockback with a right-handed long arm move, and obviously helping to generate the 5 sacks and 5 pressures. So, and then he also mentions with Jalyx Hunt, he flashes it for the reverse side. So if you swapped him, I mean, hypothetically, it would just be something interesting to see. I don't know if they'll keep them on the same. They did really well, so I think either way they'll be successful. But I thought it was just at least an interesting point that Eric brought up. And as I mentioned, anything related to Nolan Smith is going to pique my interest. I think that he'll be fine. Yeah, Johnson's right side, strong side, in Nolan's case at least. Maybe, especially, I mean, hey, we think about it too. It's not a bad point to be made. I mean, Nolan's got the left arm is the one that he injured, right? So if he's already got the stronger side for his right arm, maybe it's even better. It's a fascinating point. I think I've got a picture here of this, of Nolan and his brace that he still appears to be wearing. Good news is that he should be fine. He said that before for camp. Let's see. Do I have a picture? Surely there's one. If I can find it. If not, we may have to settle with... All right, I'll find one. I'll get one eventually. In the meantime, there is Nolan Smith, just to rewatch, wrecking the highest paid guard in NFL history now. As congratulations. I think that was the deal that was worked out today, if I'm not mistaken, for Kansas City. You just love that shot. Nolan's a football player, so whether you put him on the right side or left side, he'll be fine. It's just, like I say, an interesting point to be made there. Trenton Aziz will succeed. Yeah, I mean, MJS almost forgot about Aziz. Dr. Jen, what's up? How's it going? Alfredo Makuba needs to be signed by training camp. If he isn't, do you think he holds out? Well, I mean, he's kind of already in a way. I know that he's waiting, but he's gotten in practices. I can't envision that he's going to, hold out and skip practice. I mean, he's a rookie, right? So, I think that he's still going to get I know that there's a risk, and you could be, well, yeah, but he's not going to get contract signed, and I feel like surely they're going to figure this thing out. Now, again, mentioned it in his last video. If you didn't see it, go check it out. It's got more breakdown there, and Anthony DeBona was the first one to bring it to attention. But the reason that there's a whole lot of second-rounders that are holding out and not getting deals done are because the first 2 second-round picks in this past year's draft of Jaden Higgins and I believe Carson Swessinger signed their deals and got fully guaranteed contracts, which typically does not happen especially for second-round picks. But, it's a snowball effect. Once 1 or 2 do it, then all the other second-round picks are like, hey, hang on. Is that the going rate? They're getting guaranteed money. Sure, why not? Well, why wouldn't I ask for that if that's where the things are changing for? So I don't know. It wouldn't be a total shock. It would be a little bit surprising. I'll just say that. For Andrew Mukuba, I hope that he's going to be signed, get it done. I'm still not worried. I will say that in the years past, it's been a little bit later, and then they get a deal done. I think there's just, the culture, everything else. Hopefully we're all right. Yeah, I know that there's starting a lot of back and forth on that too, but okay, let me just share this too, because people are mentioning or curious. So we do have even more of an update on Nakobe Dean. People that may not have seen. So Nakobe's been putting in work and covered it also in the past couple of videos. We've got some video clips, some footage and everything else. But then he posted to his Instagram, I believe this was earlier today. It's a couple pics. There's a few others that I didn't include from his Instagram. It's that he's sprinting. He's going over hurdles. You actually see some of the hurdles there, but there's other hurdles that he's going over, getting in some skips and movements and everything else with his knee. I mean, it's a positive sign. Like, if nothing else, it's a positive sign. But the fact that Nakobe is out there doing this, it's a different thing for ACLs. And remember, I think we've broken it down a couple different times of having surgeons and people that can speak to it a little bit more. Of a torn patellar tendon is a little bit different than the ACL. You get the ACL injury, and you're very quickly wanting to get back to rehabbing and explosive movements and things like that. The patellar tendon, you are waiting longer, you're trying to, before you start those explosive movements. But yet, I mean, Nakobe's doing, it looks like, bounding jumps, broad jumps over the hurdles. He's had multiple videos that he's posted also recently of back squats, or I guess he's got the barbell on the back, but he's doing like step-ups with like 315, 325. Also hopping over hurdles and other box jumps. So, pretty promising sign, if nothing else. I'm curious. I still am leaning towards not being, let's just say, not being ready for the start of training. I mean, we're what, a week away? So it would still very much surprise me. But the way that he's going now, I'm like, man, the 24-year-old has proven people wrong so far. Like, I didn't expect it, but I know a lot of people did not expect to see what we're seeing at the moment from Nakobe Dean. So there's extra concerted focus to get back out there. And I don't know, maybe August. Jihaad Campbell's also a really promising sign. We've seen him put in multiple workouts. He's got some rip moves with the shoulder injury. He's been able to get those in. Overall, the Eagles, with the injuries, because we remember those are the concerns. Nolan Smith with the tricep, Nakobe Dean with the knee, Jihaad Campbell and the shoulder, Cam Jurgens in the back, Landon Dickerson, his knee surgery. So far, everybody has either posted or we've shared some things, or multiple of those for every single player, that it is better than what we anticipated. But it's great signs. I know we're here just in, early, middle July, but the fact that we're getting close to camp, we're going to start seeing those guys. They still have a decent amount of time to get fully to 100%. Yeah, we're feeling better. And it's a great point, as people are saying. You're right. Jimbo, Dean's a worker, rooting for him. MJS, people were talking like he might never be back to normal. That has been a history of some people with a torn patellar tendon. As we've said, I mean, prayers for Nakobe, continued health, continued healing. Everybody wants that, obviously. But, yeah, it's wrecked some careers. Some guys have never been able to get back to normal, and hopefully he is. It looks like he's doing much better. Mauricio, all good. Sorry, I'm late. Go Birds. We didn't take attendance yet, so you're fine. John M. Oh, to be young and heal fast, definitely not my case anymore. Yeah, being 24 years old probably helps. Dr. Jen rooting for Dean. MJS, also another fair point. Is he pushing because he's afraid to lose his spot to Campbell? And like Frank says, yeah, on a mission, want him to come back, and we need him to do damage again this year. The Eagles had the best linebacker duo in the NFL with Nakobe Dean. Kudos to Oren Burks. The plays that he made, vital, crucial, helped win a Super Bowl, no doubt. But the Eagles had the best linebacker tandem in the NFL when Nakobe Dean was out there. And that's not to mention the locker room, the morale, everything else that he brings, the intangibles. But just from a stats and analytics speaking, on the field, the Eagles had the best tandem when he was out there. Nate, you're right. Doesn't want to lose his job. There's an extra motivator. Matt, what's up? He's a beast. Devin, you're also, contract year. Don't forget it. He's got to prove something, whether it's going to be for Philip. Man, I hope he shows out and then you pay another guy, but you think that Howie pays for Zack Baun contract the very next year, pays for Nakobe Dean? I hope he does, because Fangio values linebackers. So if he plays really well, but at the same time you got Jihaad Campbell, and you wonder, is that the future? They're thinking, okay, they got Baun and Jihaad Campbell, and don't worry as much for Nakobe. I hope they do. I hope they keep them together. Let's see. Anthony would rather have them at the end of the season and playoffs than at the beginning of the season. Yeah, you want him healthy. I mean, timing is important, yes, but if he's able to get out again, if he's able to get out there earlier, if he's able to play even a little bit in the preseason, or heck, you have week. Let's say he starts on the PUP list, because we've seen that for a lot of guys. Mentioned that for Tampa Bay, and Tristan Wirfs playing on week 4, so not going to see him. So good news for the Eagles. But if he starts on the PUP list, maybe it's 4 weeks, and you see him on week 5. That would still be ahead of schedule. I think, at least for the average. The average timeline, what a lot of people have said, and the speculation for Nakobe would end up being 4 weeks. Arthur Trotter Jr. going to step right in. Yep. I got confidence in him. John, what does my brother say about Dean's progress? He's an orthopedic surgeon, for people that are... He's I mean, so far, so good, I guess. It's video clips, it's pictures, it's showing significant progress, probably a little bit ahead of schedule. I mean, without him obviously examining super close, you probably can't tell too much, but just the outside looking in, he's like, man, he's doing all the things you'd want him to. So Ellie Kid, Josh, are we going to talk about the CJ interview? LOL, elephant in the room. And if you could confirm, he talked about what your source said. There's some of the clip. Let's see, I think I got... Yeah, this was just the apology portion, which I think was good on him to say, right? Like the wishing or saying they're never going to win a championship again, and then talking about, I think he apologized to Lane and others. Yeah, it's he didn't talk about. I guess he didn't talk about specifics for what the source said, but it's probably somewhat. I mean, you could, again, I'm not going to say anything specifics, but reading between the lines, I think you can gather that there's some parts there, I guess, for why they moved on. Yeah, if people haven't seen it, go watch. The pivot is worth it to begin with, but it's worth a watch. Frank, excited for this year? Smell another Super Bowl? Let's go. I do too. Everybody doubting this team? At least doubting Jaylen. They're doing it for their own detriment, honestly. I mean, how many times I've posted the Jaylen Herds with all the doubt before the Super Bowl? Jaylen hanging out with Michael Jordan, by the way. People that did not see one of those latest videos, but hanging out in Greece. as Anthony said. He's literally got a notebook. He's taking notes from the GOAT. He's one of a kind, and there's, for anybody who's going to take something for a little bit extra criticism or the hate or the doubt and fuel him, maybe not a better person, I guess, in terms of a mentor that way to get it from MJ. LA Kid, member for 12 months. Let's go. Said, I had a dream we won the Super Bowl back-to-back. Hey, I'd buy it. I think we're biased and everything. I think it's very possible. I mean, who thinks that it's? I guess who thinks it's not gonna happen? It's kind of an unfair question, I guess. But there's some people that are Eagles fans that are legit. I've heard and talked to, and they're like, yeah, I think we have a good team, but we're just not going to do it. This won't be the year. Like maybe a decent season and then a reload, or just figure some things out, and then maybe the following year we go after it. But there's some fans that actually aren't thinking this year. That's not me. I legit. I mean, sure, you could say like, okay, well, yeah, because I don't know if we're going to be healthy, and was that a fluke thing? It was a little bit lucky of being healthier than the average team or whatnot, but if we're healthy, there's no question. Jamar, remember 11 months? The Jalen hate is crazy. Number 9 quarterback in the NFL, disrespectful. Yeah, it totally is. Yeah, hear him. It's bull that they give him crap for having great pieces around him. I know, we talked about that. It feels like it's just the constant theme. IBH, you're right, though. Yes, best thing that can happen to Eagles, keep the hate coming from the haters. It's fuel the fire. As I mentioned in the last video, and I brought up the point of, keeping it like Eagles related and Eagles theme, but you can think of other instances. But like Randall Cunningham, 1990, had a better season, statistically, way better season than Joe Montana. But Joe Montana won the MVP. And if we're keeping up the same argument of going, well, but they got better pieces, I'm sorry, but Cunningham did not have the same pieces that Joe Montana did back then, and yet he won the MVP. So for the same inclination, and I also said this during the last video, we're not saying that Jaylen Hurts is Joe Montana. We're not saying that he's there yet by any means, but just the criticism or the super team around him and all this other stuff, you don't hear it for every single quarterback. Like some quarterbacks, you go back and look, you're like, man, they had a super team. They had really good offensive weapons. They had guys that ended up being Hall of Famers. And it's not nearly talked about as much as it is for Jaylen. So for Jaylen to show up, and as we've said, in the biggest game, both times against the Chiefs, and both times outplaying Patrick Mahomes, it's just the easy criticism I get. Just the constant, like, yeah, but they got Saquon, and he's really good, and which he is. Yes, you got a great offensive line. You got A.J. Brown. You got Devonta Smith. I don't understand it. Yes, I know you mentioned Traegman as well. Oh, I know. There's so many areas and so many different players that you could mention. But, yeah, MGS, remember when Dak had the best team around? That's what they were saying. They were like, oh, man, look at this team. The Cowboys, they're going to be so good. It's just, it's not the same. Not the same criticism. Matt, what was the... where was that one? Eagles... Oh, sorry, no, LA Kid. Eagles win their 3rd Super Bowl under 10 years and back-to-back titles is what I saw. Okay, there's the dream. I believe it. Yeah, hear him keep throwing them. I'm telling you, you throw out so many different quarterbacks. They don't have that same criticism against them. Like Frank's saying, though, we know as Eagles fans, we know that Jaylen does nothing but win. That's all he does. You can hate on him, you can criticize him, you can say, oh, he can only do so many things. He's kind of put him in a box. He's limited. whatever you want to say. Can't beat the blitz, which he did last year, right? That was the thing also saying, yeah, he might be able to learn some aspects, but the blitz is always going. He was so much better against the blitz. Trend, I can't wait for Eagles Hard Knocks. It will be fun to get some insight. There's an element of it where I'm kind of like, I don't necessarily know if I want Hard Knocks. It's cool to get extra insight when it's not your team. I feel like whenever it's your team, yes, I want the insight, but I'm not really sure that I want those distractions. Again, we will learn things that'll probably be really cool, and we'll get some sound bites, and we'll get some clips and some hype stuff, and yes, there will be moments that I'm sure we'll all be saying that was totally worth it. But the distraction part to me, I'm kind of like, man, I just don't know if I want that. I'd probably prefer not. And there's a reason that they hadn't been for so long, but eventually people have to. Nate with the national hate is one thing, but in Philly, people amaze me. That's true. There's even some in Philly. Some people got to have topics to talk about, so that's the other phase of it. Do they actually believe it? Who knows? We've seen a number of, I guess, granted, this is going back to national, but we've seen a number of national shows that have fallen flat for that instance. I think at the end of the day, people see through it, as they did, shout out to the FS1 group, I believe, because Breakfast Ball with Craig Carton, The Facility, and Speak, all getting canceled by Fox Sports. Those are some good examples of, and I mean, heck, how many times did we play their clips of criticizing the Eagles, criticizing Jalen Hurts, flip-flopping? You'd get 1 week where he was a terrible player, and the very next week it was like, oh, Jalen Hurts, all he does is win. And then all of a sudden he has a bad game. You go right back to Jalen Hurts is just not a good quarterback. Like, he's holding this team back and all. It's like, come on. Pick a side. I hate that more so than just, like, look, if they're going to criticize, then just stay a hater. Keep criticizing, but at least remain consistent. It's the flip-flopping of, what are we doing here? Like, nothing that you say has any credibility because it's, like, so flighty that it's like, well, okay, one little thing changes it. And I know because they're doing it for the clicks, they're doing it for the views. But it just amazed me how many times. So, like I said, I think people see through it. That's probably why those shows are getting canceled. There's other things that went on. But there's an element to it. I will say that. Yeah, Bubba, even Lamar, Josh fairly had their share of teams. That's true. Adam, let's go, man. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Breed of One tier. Heck yeah. That is the top of the line there. Appreciate the support. Saw the comment back from even the documentary. Appreciate you, sir. Always means a lot for the support. Trend, yeah, you don't hear Jalen talk, so maybe more Hurts interviews. Maybe I feel like he's going to be less. By the way, Adam, that also gets you access to the monthly Zoom calls with the last Friday of the month. So just access there, which I'll share on the community page. So for anyone, hungry dogs are higher, but obviously for Breed of One, it certainly counts. So if you're able to make it and attend. But yeah, I mean, Jalen, I think if anything, he's probably going to try to steer clear of it even more. Yes, they'll be in the building, but does that mean that Jalen Hurts says something or gives them the time of the day? I don't know. He didn't do the quarterback, right? The quarterback show on Netflix. He's declined it multiple times. I think there's a reason why. If I'm not mistaken, I think that he was saying, like, and I'm probably paraphrasing, but it was something to the effect of, like, he's not totally against getting some extra access, but he's focused on keeping the main thing, and so those extra distractions are basically not worth it to him, and so he's declined for the quarterback of having extra inside access because he's typically, I mean, fairly private. So I can't envision that, Hard Knocks was towards the top of his list of, like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's bring in some extra access. probably against it. If they had given him the choice, hey Jalen, you want to do Hard Knocks? His answer would probably be a very quick no. Yes, it is all the NFC East. That is true. Scotty, Hurts has that Jordan Brady demeanor. That's what separates him. Yes. Got a super chat here from Trenton. Appreciate the 2 bomb. Says, going back to the facility. Acho and the other bums are gone. Praise God. I'm sure they'll have some sort of show or podcast or anything. Hopefully, never wish any ill will towards anyone, even if we disagree severely with a lot of their takes. But yeah, you didn't have to watch it, which again I think it just goes back to, we're not wishing ill will, but you don't have to watch it. And so my assumption is that those shows started severely declining because they turned into the thing that a lot of people are done with. They're like, I need the consistency. Like, be real. Pick a side and stick to it. Don't just say the crazy outlandish things just for the shock and awe factor. And it feels like that's what they fell into. And then all of a sudden people are like, well, why are we still hanging out with this thing? We don't have to keep watching this. Jose Delphia, Sydney, Brown, or Mukuba? Who wins it? That is one of the biggest questions that we've said, I think, for a number of weeks, and we're only a week away. Training camp starting. Get a look at who's going to get those reps. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see. Where was some of the other comments here for the facility? Alfredo, didn't know he turned down the QB for Jalen. Just figured they never asked because they don't think he's elite enough. Yeah, you would think so, but he did. And if I'm not mistaken, he said that from, I want to say he got asked back in 2023, 2024 season for the Super Bowl there. I think that he was asked with Patrick Mahomes, or at least there was something that came up about that, and that's whenever he shared. So the opportunities, like that's the thing, is the NFL has made Jaylen Hurts in a way like a spokesperson, right? He's the face of the NFL for the Olympics, or one of the major ones that had the promo for the Olympics and flag football and that whole thing. But one of the main promos, so he's been there. He was and yes, it's easier if you've got a team that's coming off of a Super Bowl championship, so I get that. But still, they were okay to put him out there at the Fanatics Fest in New York, and it was Jalen and Saquon that were like the main images, pictures, posters, all that. So the NFL as a brand, like they don't mind putting Jalen there. It's just like the national media members that I think it's an easy target. Like, it's a guy who wins. It's a guy who's very relevant, who's won a Super Bowl. And if you want to get clicks and get people fired up, then yeah, say a Super Bowl winner is not a top 10 quarterback, not a top 13 quarterback, if we're making some lists for people. Adam with a 5 bomb. Appreciate that, man. Says, which rookie do you think has more potential to have a big year, Ty Robinson or Drew Mukuba? Man, that's a really good question. What do we think of the chat? I'm also curious to get some takeaways there. I think for this first season, I would say Ty Robinson. I'm excited for both of them. It wouldn't surprise me if Mukuba has a higher ceiling, but I think for the first year to have a big year, Ty Robinson, it wouldn't be as shocking to see that because the age factor, so I think that he's ready to step in from day one. You play next to Jalen Carter. We've also said that makes life a million times easier. But from what everybody's saying, the vanilla gorilla, the way that he's looked in practice so far and getting those reps, I think that he'll have opportunities. Maybe Mukuba wins the starting job. He could totally win the starting job for safety. So I'm not saying that he won't get the reps, he won't get the chances, but I just feel like, as a rookie in the secondary, as a safety, not that it's not hard to do that for the defensive line, but Ty's going to get not the best blocker probably against every single line that we face because Jalen Carter's the primary focus. So if Ty Robinson were to have, I don't know, like, 5 sacks, 6 sacks, I think that's doable. I think it's difficult, but I think that's doable. And if he were to have that type of season, I don't know. What are we talking about for comparison? Who has the bigger year? Does Mukuba have 3 or 4 interceptions or, really positive play? He also could, but I don't know. I would lean towards the Vanilla Gorilla. What is the chat saying? Trenton, the facility is now closed, yes. John's going Makuba. We have more depth at the D-line. It's true. Eagles Nest, Makuba, because he will play more. That's under the assumption that he wins the starting job. If he doesn't win the starting job, he won't play. I mean, unless there's injuries. That's the thing is, if he doesn't win the starting job, he won't play hardly at all. Because now Ty Robinson, he's going to play just because of the rotation. Like, even if there's not injuries, he will get into the game. So I think that's also comes into play. Frank Makuba is going to show out, I think. You left it, I think. It's like there's conviction and I don't know. Is that a lack of conviction or is that me misreading? Scuba Makuba is going to show out, I think. Was that a comma, I think? Or Scuba Makuba is going to show out, I think. Like, confidence in that. I may be taking a little bit of that off. Trenton, Ty could be a nice rotational player, but probably not much more. J.C. Kirk Robinson will be turning heads by week 4. Put the book on it. Kid is a beast. There's 2 very different takes. There's a lot of different takes, which is, again, why we're waiting to see how they perform in camp. And that's the excitement. How do they perform in camp? The joint practices, preseason. Going to get to see a lot of reps from them. Nate, the reason for the hate is they have to admit they were wrong about their takes when he was coming out of the league or coming into the league out of college. Speaking about Jalen. Eagle 1, Vanilla Gorilla. Deontay Makuba will be starting, so I think it's him, but both are very good for the future. Dr. Jen, Ty is going to be a beast. Ty Deltas, Ty look powerful hitting those pads. Frank, fair point. Only reason I say is because Smitty noticed something about Makuba. We know he's going to do work and show up, but who knows? That is true. Smitty did say, out of the rookies, they're like, hey, any rookies standing out to you? And he said the Texas safety. Couldn't think of Makuba's name. Couldn't think to say it, but he did say the Texas safety. Evan, that's also, yes. Sydney is not exactly healthy all the time, so even if he were to win the job, could be Tristan McCollum. You could have a dark horse candidate there. Adam, okay, so he said, we'll say 5 sacks is compared to 10 breakups. That's the equivalent. One-on-one breakups. So, yes, even more clarification there. So, yeah. I think it's very doable, but I don't know. I still would probably lean slightly towards Ty. Trenton, Ty was good at batting down passes in college, which is an underrated skill. See, that's hey, you know what? What if Ty has 10 pass breakups there, 10 batted passes? He'd have that and 5 sacks. Then we're talking about a crazy season. But that, yeah, he had a lot of those. There's a reason that I made the video of Ty Robinson, the most underrated draft pick. I think there's a lot to like in his game, and there's definitely a chance for him to show out. 48 wave, I could totally see that also. Ty short-term, Makuba long-term. That wouldn't surprise me either. Jamar, I think Ty will be a monster. Josh, we're going to need a vanilla gorilla emoji. I'll have something eventually. It might have to be once the season gets going. But yes, if it's like, hey, he's got a sack or 2, he's starting to really show up, then yeah, we'll that one's too easy though. I mean, there's a perfect icon or emoji that I can do for that already. So yeah, we will have that. And there's other emojis in the works. So a Nolan one, we've got some others. Don't worry. Let me see. Get to the other super chats here. Jersey-born Philly fan 72. Do you think there will be any more signings before camp begins or maybe after? The only signing that I would expect would be, speaking of Drew Mukuba, that would be the only one. If we get a signing, it would be Drew Mukuba before camp begins, and you lock up the rookie. We're good to go. We got the contract signed. I don't think it's another player. If you're thinking of or referencing like a Justin Simmons or anybody like that, that to me doesn't feel like we're doing anything there until maybe August. Whether it's an injury or a concern, a lack of talent. If it's at the safety position, if Vic Fangio goes to Howie and he's like, yeah, we need somebody else, this is not going to work, then maybe you have someone sign there. But I don't see any external signings. I'll just put it that way. No one before camp. There's I don't know. At the moment, I feel like I'm maybe a 50% chance of an external signing after camp starts and into August at some point, because for the reasons like I mentioned. And Howie's done that in the past. I mean, I think there's, 3... I was reading an article the other, I think it was 3 of the last 4 seasons, there's been an August signing of some sort. Or even a move. I guess it kind of counts as a trade, but like a trade and or an external signing. So I'm pretty confident that you get something there. It's just timing wise, I don't see it before camp. Fanny, the 5 bomb, appreciate that. Says, hey Josh, this most recent list has Jaylen at 9 and Daniels at 5. To place him higher with 1 year of stats is a slap on both sides of the face. It is. Jayden Daniels is the fun, exciting, young, up-and-coming quarterback who, yes, played extremely well. And you know what? He was asked, call it what it was, he was asked to do more. The difficult part is that people look at that and go, and when I say asked to do more in the sense of he threw more passes. He threw more passes, and he was the offense of Washington ran through Jayden Daniels. But he didn't have Saquon Barkley, and he didn't have all these other playmakers. He had some. They've got some good players, sure. But you're right. They go 1 season not even winning the Super Bowl, and that to me is one of the biggest double standards, because they're like, it's the projection of Jayden Daniels. He could end up being really good, and I think that he will be. But it's the projection of going 1 season as a rookie, and they're already going to have him 4 spots ranked higher than Jalen Hurts, who's played in 2 Super Bowls, has won a Super Bowl, has played in 2 Super Bowls as the only, I think, he's one of 3 players, if I'm not mistaken, to play in 2 Super Bowls since 2012, or players that were drafted since 2012, and it's Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Jalen Hurts. It's 3 quarterbacks. That's it. But it's a slap in the face, absolutely, because he is the one player that it doesn't matter how much talent another team has, they look at it and they go, oh well, he's that's the best roster in the NFL. It's like people weren't saying that whenever they were losing games, and even if it was fluky or some drops or things like that. Go back to the documentary that I dropped. That's the reason that we kind of went through the whole thing of saying, okay, what was the narrative? What was it going into week 1 and then week 2 and then week 3, 4 going into the bye week. And sometimes I forget. I think a lot of us forget. It's easy to remember the highs and the NFC Championship game, the blowout, the nail biter against the Rams. The playoff moments are easier, but it got a little bit bleak for a second in the bye week and kind of coming out of it and all the other stuff that we're facing, the adversity. But people don't remember that. Yet the arguments being made by the media at that point was, this team's not that great. They've got struggles, and Sirianni's problem, and are they going to be able to put it together and not showing up in big moments, making mistakes, and just laying an egg, whatever the case may be. But there was no talks of super teams, and then as soon as they start going on a run, then we get towards the latter part of the season, and that's the convenient argument to make. All of a sudden, it's like, well, they've had this is an unstoppable team. They're the best team in the NFL, so of course they do that. Anything short would be complete failure. But you're right. 1 season already. I don't know how they had some other guys in front of him. I mean, there was one list that had Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, I mean, some of the players out there, cool. They've made some plays and they've played decent at times or played well at times, but it's they didn't win a Super Bowl. They didn't show up in that way. Would they have played at that high of a level? I just, there's no way that I see that. Let's see. Where was the other? Did I miss one of those super chats? No, I guess that was the last one there. What was the other comments? We got a lot of Scuba Makuba. Felix, though. What's up? Definitely pulling for Sydney Brown to start. There's some support for Sydney. Hiram says that as well. Sydney Brown going to start. There's a few of those. I'm awake. We need a cornerback. Do we really? We need a corner. You okay? Still of the belief. Trenton predict Reed will be re-signed by the end of camp. I would love it. Nothing early on. Nothing at the moment. At least before that we had talked. That was like a week or two ago. But would absolutely love to have Reed Blankenship back. Some sort of extension. Qualified, where do I go to watch the documentary? Oh, you just go to the channel. Go to the channel. We got it right up there. Let me see if I can screen share just to show which one it is. But yeah. Here we go. Right here at the channel. This one right here. Legendary, The Climb. Relive the entire Eagles 2024 season. That is the full-length documentary with just about everything that you can imagine. An hour and 13 minutes. But that is the documentary. So for people that are asking or curious, there's the video. It's basic. I mean, it's very similar, I know, to the thumbs and the title and everything else. I made it a little bit different just to hopefully, I don't know, appear different or pop up. But the story of the 2024-2025 Eagles. But there it is. Go to the channel. Go check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Let's see. Got another one from 48 Wave. Appreciate the 5. Said, egos won't allow experts to get off their initial perch of Jaylen not being a great quarterback. He can win 12 MVPs and they'll still die on that perch. Shaking my head. It would be interesting to see what would it take. And maybe there's nothing, like you say. Maybe there's nothing that will change their mind. He could win 12 MVPs and they will not change. I don't know, though. Like, to me, there's an element there of could and would Jaylen Hurts win MVP? Because even that would have to change a decent amount of minds just based on the MVP voting. If he won MVP, there's, I don't know, I'm kind of like 50-50. I could definitely see where people are going to be like, oh, that's overrated, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But I could see the same people that have flip-flopped, like we showed on the documentary, then taking that narrative and going like, oh yeah, he's so good, like, he's been this way for a long time, and just completely about facing, because it's the NFL and they know where their bread is buttered, they know where their paycheck's coming from, and not directly, but they're talking about the NFL product. So I could see them potentially then all of a sudden going, yeah, he's a top 3 quarterback, he's got the Super Bowl, he's got a Super Bowl, he's got MVP. I don't know. I see it on both sides there. There's some analysts, yes, that like it won't matter what he does. But if he were to win, and we're talking about a regular season MVP, just for clarification, I know he's got the Super Bowl MVP, but regular season MVP, that to me, or to analysts, I should say, I think that's different. It holds a little bit more weight in their eyes of, okay, how much did he do and how much was he playing a factor on the team? I don't know. It would be curious if he, or it would be interesting if he were to get that point. Another super chat, John M. with a 5 bomb. Appreciate that. Just says super chat, go Birds. Go Birds. Almost there. The ring ceremony, by the way, this reminded me, because we were talking about the documentary and seeing the Super Bowl Lombardi trophy. The ring ceremony is this Friday. So, assuming there's no other postponements, they had that previously to make sure the rings were ready and everything else. But should be this Friday. Players getting those. Looking forward to seeing what those look like and everything else from the reactions, probably reliving that. There was also J Battles. NFL Network has a mic'd up Super Bowl on right now. Yes, and there's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the NFL Network has their own version of Eagles highlights and documentary that's going to be dropped tomorrow, I think. So don't hold me to that, but I think it's very soon. It's like tomorrow, the next day. We beat them to it, not to toot my own horn, but ours came out about a week before. I'm sure it's going to be maybe a little better. Their production value and everything. Still proud of the work that we did there. And shout out to Anthony DeBona, who is not here. Family plans already, so not able to make it, but did help tremendously with the documentary as well. So research and topics and everything there. Let's see. Daniel with a 2. Appreciate that. Have you watched the CJ Pivot podcast episode? I've watched some of it. We were talking about that a second ago. I haven't seen the full interview, but I saw bits and pieces, honestly, through like highlights and clips that were shared on Twitter. So, as I mentioned earlier, I thought it was cool of him to apologize. Sometimes, the emotion gets the better of him. I think there's an element of that, of why he was traded, and there's some other things that I saw so far. I'm curious to go back and listen to the whole clip, but yeah, I think so. There's elements though that are kind of leading into probably why he was moved on from. Matt, Josh, did you? Oh, did I get my invitation? Unfortunately, no, I did not. Qualified member for 8 months. Where do I go to watch the documentary? Which one are you talking? Are you talking about the documentary that I dropped, or the documentary for like the NFL Network? Because if you're doing that, then it's like YouTube TV or like whatever you have. Just go to NFL Network. I just shared my screen though, talking about the documentary. You just go to the channel, go back to the main page of the channel, and it's called The Climb, reliving the entire Eagles 2024 season. You'll see it in the thumbnail. I'm not sure which one. Daniel, said Philly traded him because he's got too much of a dog. That is what I did see that portion of it. Again, I've not seen the whole thing. That is kind of what I'm referencing. So just the reasons of why. And it's, some people would describe it differently. That's the way that he chooses to describe it. But there's an element of that of, keeping the locker room the way that they want to and the vibes of the squad and what they want there versus what they don't. So made some really big plays and added that physicality and tenacity and maybe sometimes too much emotion, but some emotion, but needed to move on. And they got the right guys in the locker room still. He may be a loss in some areas. We'll see. But I think they've got more than enough guys, the right guys in the locker room. So I'm, as Zach Baun put it after he signed his extension, and people are like, you're losing some guys. What do you think? Blah, blah. He's like, congrats to them. But he's like, I'm more excited about the players that we do have, like the guys to run it back with. So that's exactly where I'm at. MJS, I think Huff and CJ gone will improve the locker room greatly. I think for sure with Huff, CJ's, yes, probably. Okay. Hang on now. Flawless. CJ said there was a scrum at practice leading into the playoffs that he was blamed for. Did he say that in the interview? Can another person confirm that as well? Like I said, I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing yet. I did see someone posted on Twitter, so I did get to see the trading away because he's got that dog, but okay, yeah, in the first 10 minutes. Again, I was getting this from like piecemeal clips on Twitter, so not the whole thing like sequentially. Okay. Well, then if that's the case, that is the reason that I was told. So there you go. You got the reason now. And he says blamed for, right? So again, there's a reason that he got moved on from. We were smart enough, right? You were smart enough to know. It was not cap reasons. It wasn't cash reasons. That's a good part of maybe why you could say it. But yeah. There's okay. There we go. I also did not see the addressing the hit on Malik Neighbors, but that was not a reason that I was told. So the scrum or fight right before the playoffs, leading up to the playoffs, that was, yeah. But they held it all together, won the Super Bowl, and I think that the mind was probably made up at that point. It was like, regardless of how this thing plays out, we're probably looking to move on if there's a trade partner, and they figured it out. Frank, there's always tension from time to time, but that wouldn't get him traded, though. Again, can't share specifics of it, but it's what was his wording? What was somebody saying? Was it just it was a scrum or a scrum? Which it was. I think it was reaching a tipping point, and then that was like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, it had to happen. Shoving and pushing is one thing. A little bit emotional is one thing, but to the point of escalation, there was no other choice. So, Daniel, when will you tell us everything you know? Well, I mean, I'm at least confirming something there. Like we even said, if somebody said something or there was a player, then we would confirm it. But I'm just not sharing any specifics because I was told to not say anything of specifics for it. So, but at least you know now. It was, I mean, there it is. It was a scrum or fight right before the playoffs, and CJ saying he was blamed for it. And that's whether he believes it or not. That was more of it wasn't just for the cash reasons. Hiram, they got rid of him for not for on the field play. Yeah, I think if it came down to just talent and ability, you're not moved on from him. Again, they traded him, and then Justin Reed is linked to the Eagle. The Eagle tried to make Justin Reed an offer. It's like, what are we doing here? We don't believe you're not buying that. Frank, too much testosterone in the building that day, I guess. Yeah, well, there's just levels you don't go to, especially with your own team. You're trying to win something, so. Let's see, what are we talking about? Oh, sorry, I missed John's. I'm sure his Super Bowl parade shirt didn't help him either. Yeah, I mean, there's a common denominator, and then you continue on with other things. So, 48 wave, that's a fair question, I guess. But as far as I know, there were not weapons that were involved in the scrum. Interesting. Okay, well, see, now I'm going to have to go back and watch the whole thing as well. So I was getting bits and pieces. Some of it, but some not. Corey did not get the pics or videos from the visit yet. I emailed and reached out, and we're waiting to hear back. They were busy, and we will see. Lewis, yeah, see, there you go. We all knew it was an internal locker room issue. I mean, like if CJ had been torched and just like, oh my gosh, it's the biggest weak link in the defense, and almost like why is he on the field? Then okay, maybe you go, yeah, they could probably upgrade, or it's just not worth it, or But yes, there was absolutely had to do. There you go. Yeah, see, everybody's got to go back and watch that. Totally makes sense. Gets more info. Matt, I hear you. It is getting to be a little bit later now. I'm going to do this giveaway for people that are on the live stream. So for those that are curious, we'll do that. I probably need to jump here in a second as well. So any last second Q&A as I get the spinner ready. But this is just for people on the live stream. So, and don't leave because you got to be present to claim it. But we're going to do a Nolan Smith, his latest T-shirt that dropped. So if you want a chance to win one of those. All right. If you want a chance, then all you got to do is in the chat right now, just for the live stream, but comment Nolan. That's all you got to do. One time. Don't do it multiple times. I'm pretty sure it'll kick you out. You won't be counted. So type in Nolan, enter it, and then we should be good. Kevin, what? You giving out prizes? What do you mean? What? Kevin, are you new? This happens like every single time. Come on. The prizes are going to get better during the season too. So shout out to some of the sponsors. We got some big stuff planned. There's definitely looking like a big possibility for more tickets given out than we did last year. Remember, it was a ticket to every single game last year. Sometimes it was multiple. We did at least 2 for every single game. So whatever that was, 18 plus playoffs? I think we had 40. We did some duplicates. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 46 tickets to Eagles games last year. JUCO, do we always do these live? Usually every Tuesday night. Tuesday night hangout. Once the season starts, we're going to be trying to do Tuesday night hangout and the Friday night hangout. I know we had that last time. Not as much to talk about and hang out, during the off season, so kind of did away with the Friday. But for those regulars, going to be trying to do Tuesday night hangout and Friday night. I'll give it another minute or two, and then I'm going to spin. So again, don't leave. If you commented Nolan, you need to be here to claim it. Otherwise, I'll give it away to somebody else. I'll give another minute or two, and then I'm going to spin this thing. Just one comment of Nolan. I think that we got just about everybody. Matt's already going with rigged. I'm going to love it one time, though, where somebody actually wins and they had already commented rigged. Would be pretty good. It's almost like at that point, then you shouldn't win. Okay. I think I've got it here. So let's go ahead and we'll share the screen. And again, you got to just be present. You got to still be on the stream. I'll give you a little bit to claim it. If you don't, then it's going to go to somebody else. All right, make sure I can share this. And I think it'll see. So pick the winner. Good luck all. Who's it going to be? It is Adam. I think Adam's still here, right? He was here a second ago. Adam, let's go. You are the winner. Please say that you're still here on the stream. Got the Nolan t-shirt coming your way as long as you just comment back just one more time just to make sure that you're here. There you go. Got it with the super chat earlier. Also to the breed of one. And the comment. It wasn't too long ago. There you go. He's here. Congrats. What did Matt say? Oh, that should be the keyword one time. We just say rigged. That's a good idea. Maybe we'll do that for next time. Adam, let's go. All right, so congrats. You got that. I think, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, we've already got emails traded back and forth. I believe. Or am I making that up? Either way, thephillyspecialshow@gmail.com. So just email me, or email me again. But yeah, just contact there. I'll get you the. I'll make sure that I have the contact info to ship it, and then I'll get you the latest Nolan Smith shirt. So, congrats. Let's go. Also, for people that are curious to get Nolan's latest merch, if you haven't, I'll also share. There's a link in the description of the video and of the live stream. So I've got multiple of these, but there you go. He's dropped the latest for a couple different pieces of merch, whether you want to go with the hoodie or the T-shirt, and not too bad. I think that Nolan's got some other options as well. So talking with some of his members, I think that I mean, he's got a great opportunity here for like maybe some dice and something there. I'm trying to work out potential emoji also for the channel. So stay tuned. I would be shocked if this is the last merch drop. But there you go. Again, congrats to Adam. Get you hooked up with that. No way. Adam's going to... Oh, really? Okay. Adam wants to spin again. You're too kind. That's not required, but the 2-bomb and spin again for anybody. Okay, so hopefully people are still here. Because, gosh, if they are not, then this might take a little bit longer. Stay here. If you commented Nolan, we're going to pick somebody else, courtesy of Adam. Let's go. You don't have to feel bad. All right. I mean, he's sure, so we're going to spin to somebody else. All right. Here we go. Let's do it again. Some people, seeing some of these comments here. Flawless, a.k.a. Are you still here? Hopefully this doesn't take forever. This is the only concern, that people saw that and they're like, he's like, whatever. Adam with a 2. I feel bad. I want it, but it feels unfair. You don't have to. It's not required. You don't have to do that. It's your call. LA Kid, Josh, I'll let him keep. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, absolutely. Is Flawless still here? Jimbo says, Adam, you've totally redeemed yourself. It's your call, man. You shouldn't feel bad one bit. Like it's a randomized spinner. You want it. Like, if you want it, then keep it. I don't even see Flawless commenting, so I think Flawless may have left. Wait, Flawless is here. There you go. Congrats. I think. Flawless is here. Yep. Congrats, I believe. Force it upon him. I got you. All right. Email me at thephillyspecialshow@gmail.com. So I got your contact info and can get it. Adam, I hope that's cool. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to feel forced. Okay, with another 2. If he doesn't claim it, I'll take it. That's really cool of you, man. I mean, again, please don't ever feel. I'll just make this like PSA for everybody. Please don't ever feel like if you won something in the past or just whatever, like, don't feel like you have to give anything else. But Flawless, if you want it, it sounds like you got it, courtesy of Adam. So congrats to you. But I do need you to email me so I get your contact info. thephillyspecialshow@gmail.com. I'll get it shipped out to you. The city of brotherly love. That's how Eagles fans do. And yes, Flawless appears to be having claimed it from previously. So yeah, hit me up. I'll get it to you. Adam, you are the man. MVP of the stream. That is really cool. And honestly, that's what makes this community so great. You guys are the best. The support, not only to me, but as you see, obviously, from the giveaway and being selfless, sacrificing there. So, Adam, appreciate it. I'm going to jump as well. This was fun. Every Tuesday night. Stay tuned. More videos this week. Also, trying to work out maybe potentially another interview beforehand. So, stay tuned. But, more content to come regardless. And training camp is, literally 1 week away at this point. Can't get here fast enough. But more to come. We'll see you guys. Go Birds.